Failure has always been one of our greatest teachers. For generations, we've told students that learning is supposed to be hard, that struggling with a problem, grappling with uncertainty, and making mistakes are part of the process. But what happens when artificial intelligence removes the need to struggle? In a world where AI can solve math problems, generate essays, compose emails, translate languages, and even tutor students on demand, the question becomes, is failure still necessary for learning? Or has technology evolved to the point that we can bypass the uncomfortable parts of growth altogether? Let's take a step back. For decades, educational psychologists have emphasized the importance of what Carol Dweck coined as the growth mindset, the belief that intelligence and ability can develop through effort, perseverance, and feedback. That mindset reshaped classrooms, encouraging students to see challenges not as obstacles, but as opportunities. Struggle, in this paradigm, was not a sign of weakness. It was a signal of learning in progress. But now we live in an era where AI tools can sidestep that struggle. Don't know how to structure an argument? Ask ChatGPT. Can't solve a math equation? Upload it to Photomath. Need to write a professional-sounding email? Copilot can do it faster, and maybe better. This raises a new question for educators. Is cognitive effort still valuable in a world of instant support? And if students no longer need to wrestle with uncertainty, will they lose the capacity to persist through difficulty? To answer that, we need to distinguish between two kinds of failure: failure that teaches and failure that we avoid. The first kind, productive failure, is what happens when students attempt something new, fall short, reflect on what went wrong, and try again. It's the failure we experience when building understanding. It's foundational to resilience, creativity, and self-awareness. The second kind, unnecessary or preventable failure, might occur when students don't have access to support, or when a task is poorly structured. This kind of failure frustrates learners and leads to withdrawal. In many cases, AI can help reduce these unproductive stumbles, and that's a good thing. But what we risk losing is the first kind of failure, the kind that prompts growth. Let's use an analogy. Consider learning to drive a car. There's a difference between using a GPS to guide your journey and sitting in the passenger seat while someone else drives. In one scenario, you're still learning making turns, interpreting traffic signals, adapting to road conditions. In the other, you're simply being carried along. Many AI tools make us passengers in our own thinking. If students always rely on a chatbot to write a first draft, they may never learn how to organize complex ideas. If a recommendation engine always suggests what to watch, read, or study, they may never develop their own judgment. The cost isn't just academic, it's cognitive independence. And yet, there is still space for a powerful new kind of struggle in the AI era: prompting. Yes, prompting. Learning how to speak to machines in ways that are clear, precise, and context-rich. When done right, prompting is a dance of logic and creativity. It requires iteration, experimentation, and feedback. And crucially, it often requires failure. Ask any skilled AI user and they'll tell you, the first prompt rarely gets it right. You try a few keywords, receive a shallow response, revise your question, clarify your tone, adjust your structure, and eventually arrive at something meaningful. This process is not unlike early scientific inquiry: hypothesize, test, revise. That's the new form of cognitive struggle. Not wrestling with the content itself, but wrestling with how to shape the conversation with AI to reach the depth you need. And this isn't limited to academic work. In professional fields, prompting well is becoming a key indicator of fluency. Marketers, journalists, coders, researchers, many are learning that the ability to ask good questions is now more important than ever. Which brings us to a deeper point. Effort hasn't vanished in the AI age. It has shifted. Today, the effort lies in thinking about how we think. It lies in reflection, in metacognition, in being able to evaluate the adequacy of a response, the accuracy of a source, the ethics of an automation. In a world where AI can give you any answer, the real challenge becomes knowing what to do with it. So, how do we teach this? First, we redefine challenge. Instead of just solving problems, students can now design them. Rather than answer a prompt, they learn to craft one. Instead of completing a worksheet, they might iterate on a chatbot's draft until it matches a specific rhetorical tone or ethical standard. Second, we create space for transparent struggle. Educators can model what it looks like to test a prompt, get a weak output, and try again, out loud on the screen with commentary. We normalize that learning in the AI world isn't linear, it's dialogic. Third, we emphasize evaluation over production. If a student uses AI to produce an answer, they should also critique that answer. Where is it strong? Where is it vague? What's missing? This kind of evaluative thinking is deeply rigorous and still very human. And finally, we celebrate process over perfection. The goal is not to produce polished products instantly. It's to engage in meaningful intellectual work, supported but not replaced by machines. In sum, the AI-rich classroom doesn't eliminate challenge, it redefines it. The struggle shifts from memorizing facts to mastering thought processes, from recalling information to refining communication, from solving for X to solving for relevance, clarity, and context. And in this new paradigm, the growth mindset is not obsolete. It's more essential than ever. Because the most important thing students can learn today is not how to beat the machine, but how to grow alongside it.